I am Kyle Flaherty from Breaking Point Systems, and we're here again live at the Gemalto Lounge, live at South by Southwest, and live from Stubbs. I'm joined by Aaron Strout, WCG. I'm actually doing the intros this time, so that means both of our names get in. Aaron always forgets to introduce me during the beginning of the show, so I won't forget to introduce our guest, Michael Schneider, co-founder and CEO of Mobile Roadie.
Yes.
All right, so the first question is kind of an easy one. What's Mobile Roadie? What do you guys provide?
We provide a platform that lets non-technical people make a mobile application in about an hour.
So you can make an application in about an hour, Kyle.
Do you think he was talking to me?
Even you can
Even
do
me?
it.
All right, that's pretty impressive.
We do have to tackle the elephant in the room, though, which is kind of funny, and that is that I only know two Michael Schneiders, and one was a co-author of my book, and now one is our guest on the show. So
Covered the game.
Apparently, we hold Michael Schneiders of the world in high esteem.
Exactly.
So esteem, I said that with a little joke.
How did the impetus for Mobile Roadie come about? Why do it?
Well, we basically saw that people were tired of paying $50,000 to $100,000 for a mobile app and waiting 6 months. Mm-hmm. And so if we could reduce that time to a few hours of work and live in a week or two, and $1,000 instead of $50,000, we saw an opportunity. We used to run a digital agency, and the digital agency was not winning the bids. Everyone wanted an app, but no one could afford it or wanted to wait that long. Mm-hmm. So that was the impetus.
How do you walk that fine line between, the good thing I think with most mobile applications is that there's a standardization. The more you can kind of snap to a standard format that people have come to expect, leverage some of the benefits like the camera and the how to share, all that good stuff on the phone. But how do you make it so that it's differentiated enough so it doesn't look like a PowerPoint template of an app?
That's a great question, and that's been, we were the very first self-service app platform in 2009, actually launched here at South by Southwest in March of 2009. And there's a lot of copycats, and a lot of them are just templates in a box. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on is design. We actually pay attention to the details and the creative part, not just does it work and share, but does it actually look good. And we provide just an amazing set of tools where if you're an artist or a designer, or even if you're not, we have such amazing pre-packaged looks and feels that can be customized that no one app looks like another app. So that's how we've tackled that problem. But the reality is that most of these apps need sharing tools, social tools, community tools. Right. So you sort of build on that base layer with custom artwork and design on top of it.
That makes sense.
So what, every platform?
Well, so iPhone and Android natively. In short order, we'll have a solution for any other smartphone. And we used to be on BlackBerry, pulled the plug in May of last year.
Okay. That's a big mistake because I think BlackBerry is going to be huge.
That's going to be big.
Yeah, I've been hearing that, especially at the South by.
Well, they're all over.
BlackBerry's trending today. So.
I also have to remember that people may not know my sense of humor since Michael and I just met.
So, just to follow up on the platforms themselves, do you see a distinct majority going to one of the main platforms, iPhone versus Android?
We see a two-horse race. I mean, it's iPhone and Android and then everyone else, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. No. Android is every day increasing in importance. Some of our sports apps, for example, Android trends a little bit more male, have more Android installs than iPhone. So it depends a bit on demographic. In outside the developed world, Android is more popular than iPhone simply because it's way cheaper.
Yep.
So I think you need both.
I think the latest stat I saw yesterday was 50% of all new phones shipped have Android on them. So that doesn't mean they own 50% of the market?
No.
50% of all new phones, so validating your point.
That's surprising. Yeah.
So actually, I do want to drill on that a little bit because I am curious, Nokia obviously got out of the operating system game. They're going to Windows. Do they have a fighting chance? Like, are you guys going to plan for that? I know you just said it's a two-horse race, but could they get back into the race maybe?
I don't see a reason why consumers need it. I think Microsoft has infinite money virtually to spend on marketing, but Nokia doesn't have infinite time. So we'll see what happens. I actually think Windows Phone 7 is beautiful. And it's a really great user experience, and that's something that Nokia really struggled on for a long time. But the question is, why does the world need it? Android is a little bit, I'd say, lesser version in a few ways of iOS, and a little bit cheaper, and iOS is sort of the cream of the crop. Why do you need a third platform? And until I get an answer and that makes sense to me, I'm not that bullish on Windows Phone 7.
Well, it's going to come down to value at some point, and if you're not getting value from one of the platforms, which I think we all are, then why would the other platforms? So you mentioned sports apps. We were talking music apps a little while ago. Are there main industry focuses that you've seen that just apps are really, really hot for?
I think anytime that people have a common cause. I'm a fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, and I just love him so much. I want to chat with other fans of Cristiano Ronaldo while he's playing in a game. Or I love Madonna, and I want more of a Madonna experience and talk with other fans. Anytime there's a common cause like that, and the common cause can be a brand too. I love Nike, so I'm going to download a Nike app and interface with other people that love Nike too. That's really the trend that we see. We're very good at content-based apps, so anyone that has great content can easily build a community around them using Mobile Roadie.
Okay.
Let me drill down on that a little bit, though. Like, why wouldn't you just do that on Facebook or Twitter or some of the other mainstream platforms?
That's a great question. And so Facebook has a lot of noise. Even if you're on the page of a single artist or a single brand, you've got timeline and instant messages, and it's still distracting, even though it's more focused than, let's say, a Google search.
Yep.
What our apps allow people to do is just be hyper-focused on the edge of their seat on whatever the app happens to be about. The engagement numbers that we see for some of these brands are just off the chart compared to what people are actually tweeting about them and putting on their Facebook page. It's just a more personal experience. It's with you anywhere you go, and you're only interfacing with people that have the same common cause, which is you both love whatever the brand happens to be.
So one of the things that this is one of, I mean, we're on our 10th episode, I think, this weekend doing this, but one thing that just continues to come up is digital wallet, mobile commerce, all of those things. Are you guys seeing anything specifically around that when it comes to app development, and do you do anything specific when it comes to apps that actually power kind of those banking, commerce type of apps?
So let me start by saying I think it is virtually a horrendous experience to buy any physical good through a mobile app today. There's some exceptions, eBay, Amazon, a few are doing it better. But in general, it's really hard to buy something physical through an app, unless it's iTunes.
So is that an app design issue, or is that a phone issue? Is that a...
There's all sorts of issues.
We don't have enough time to go through all
We
this.
don't have enough time, but the short version is people buy iTunes tracks because it's so easy to enter a password and click.
Sure.
We need to get to that level of ease of use, and a lot of these, first of all, Apple and Google don't want the responsibility for selling physical goods, so they're never going to open that up to physical products. PayPal is sort of there. There's a lot of things that need to come together to have that same seamless experience for physical goods. Right. To answer your question, we are working on something that I think will help push that along.
All right.
Do you ever see fax marketing coming to the mobile phone?
Yeah. We get shared a fax all the time along with Facebook and Twitter.
Of course. It's a big
In all
deal.
seriousness, so one of the things Kyle just touched on is mobile, payments heightens the need for security. What are you guys doing, or who are you partnering with? Who's doing a good job at sort of helping to keep those apps secure, the data secure, and ultimately any type of transaction?
Anytime someone mentions security and privacy and stuff, I think that privacy is very important and absolutely should be respected, but I think the generation that's actually buying this stuff and really the movers and shakers actually don't care as much as the media gives them credit for caring about privacy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think they're hiding from people. I think they're willing to give up information to have a better experience. So is it a problem if someone has a intrusion and credit card numbers are stolen? Absolutely. But is it a big issue with security, at least in my world, in the content world? Not really. And I think there's general safeguards in place to have security on a mobile phone. In fact, today, think about it. If your phone goes missing, you can now find your phone, you can wipe your phone, you can track it, you can send a message. I mean, actually, we have a lot more control over security than we did in the past.
We have that control, but if you don't do so, 53% of users don't even know they can set a password on their phone right now, according to McAfee. And that's a user issue. That's an education issue. I think we all agree with that. But we broach on something that I think is interesting too, is the distribution of the apps themselves. So I create an iPhone app, I create an Android, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys help with that as well? Get it into the Android market, get it into soup to nuts all the way through?
It's soup to nuts. We're doing it on behalf of the publisher, so we're publishing it under their account. But we don't need to do anything technical. We test the app, we make sure it works. We do test for obscene content or something that shouldn't be there.
Right.
And then we do submit it and get it approved for them.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite app? Ooh.
We've done over 3,000 apps have been created on our system to date. I probably shouldn't choose favorites. One interesting thing recently is Adele's app, and it's an unfair example because Adele is on top of the world right now. But Taylor
She's a
Swift.
singer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just
Thank
wanna
you.
let you
My
know.
13-year-old daughter has not helped
wanted
me
to make
this
sure.
That
show.
was this woman that won all these Grammys.
Yes.
A Grammy is an
I may
award.
be familiar with that. Oh, I didn't know that part, but thank you.
And she
Michael could do this show with us. I think he knows how to hang.
I know, he's
she came from multi six-figure downloads to over 1.5 million downloads in about 2 weeks, post Grammys and post Google featuring her, which speaks to two things. It speaks to the power of her brand, and it speaks to the power of actually Google's Android market, now called Google Play, what an impact that can have, and how Android is incredibly relevant now.
So speaking about music, we're kind of hitting the end of our show, and one thing we like to talk about is music and barbecue. So let's start with music, because that's really where I started with my segue, and it'd be weird if I then went to barbecue. In terms of music, things like that, where are you finding kind of the latest artists for yourself?
The latest artist, well, I think any artist that's proactive in other channels, like they're actually tweeting themselves.
Right.
They have an iPhone, they know what an iPhone or Android is. Those kind of things are really interesting. I had a great experience last year. I shared with you before we started at Stubbs. The Foo Fighters, which played the Media Temple closing party, interactive closing party last year, was a pretty amazing experience that actually perfectly mixed barbecue and music in just an incredible setting. And I think they played for something like 3.5 hours.
That's
insane.
insane.
Playing. So it was pretty awesome.
I don't think Dave Grohl is human.
No.
No, I think he's a cyborg, or maybe an android, or something like that.
Yeah, we were wondering.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
So speaking of barbecue, we like to sort of feel people out. What style barbecue do you like? And we do get a lot of people that obviously lean toward not just Stubbs, but Texas style barbecue. You have a different choice. Talk about it.
Well, I spent time in Nashville because it's the center of country music, and there's Judge Beans in Nashville, which I don't know what it is about Nashville barbecue versus Texas barbecue, but there's something special about Nashville barbecue.
Now, is Nashville more pork than beef?
I think Texas is more beef.
Yo,
and
definitely.
Nashville's more pork.
Okay.
I think the sauces are a little bit different. I'm not sure I can pinpoint it, but if I had to choose one, it would be Nashville. No disrespect to Stubbs.
No, of course not. Have you had any barbecue in Texas while you've been here?
I got here 4 hours ago, so maybe right after this I'll head over.
Okay, there we go. I like to hear that. Excellent. Well, let me wrap it up on behalf of Aaron Strout, WCG, Kyle Flaherty of Breaking Point Systems, Michael Schneider from Mobile Roadie. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
All right, so we're nearing the end of our show right now, and we'd love to talk about music and barbecue. We were just talking about Adele. Where are you kind of finding music these days? What do you rely on to find new music?
I have a very traditional answer, which is terrestrial radio. I listen to the radio. My flow is strange, and this is probably not what most people do, but I will hear a song I like on the radio. I will Shazam it. I will then listen to it in Spotify to make sure I actually like it, and then I'll buy it in iTunes.
Believe it or not, I do
So
the exact same thing.
little
So
test
that's-
drive.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not
So
that
we are
strange,
like,
or maybe it's equally as strange.
brothers separated by 20 years from another
There you
mother.
go. Wow,
It's a strange buying process, but that is my primary discovery method.
Okay. Interesting. And what about live shows?
Live shows are always great, but I find myself, if I'm going to a live show, I've heard at least one or two of the songs, as opposed to going in blind.
Well, you're telling us last year you saw a show here in town, right?
Last year I saw the Foo Fighters, which was the
At
Media
Stubbs.
Temple interactive
right.
closing party at Stubbs.
Yep.
They were played for almost 3.5 hours, I think. They were on it. Yeah, it was a great show.
That's awesome.
Dave Grohl is a robot.
He is.
Yeah. So barbecue. We have covered the music piece, barbecue. A lot of the folks that we talk to love to come to Austin. They like the Texas barbecue. We like Texas barbecue. You have a little bit of a different answer to that story, which adds some nice diversity.
I like Texas barbecue, but I've spent a lot of time in Nashville, center of country music. We do a lot of business there, and Judge Beans in Nashville is my spot. There's something different about Nashville barbecue compared to Texas barbecue. Sauces are a little bit different, and it's amazing.
And you prefer the pork over the beef? If you can only choose one.
I'm Jewish, so I probably shouldn't say that, but yes.
Well,
Could you? Yeah.
bleep it out. It'll be fine. Don't worry. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Michael Schneider from Mobile Roadie, Kyle Flaherty, Breaking Point Systems, Aaron Strout, WCG. We'll see you in the next version, live from the Gemalto Lounge.